radio.com. The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Coming up in Glory Days today, LeBron James is heading back to Cleveland. What does that mean about Carmelo Anthony?
And we're halfway through the baseball season as they get to the All-Star break. The Yankees lose an ace. And what the heck is going on with the Long Island Railroad?
Good question. World Cup is tomorrow, the finals, Germany and Argentina. Phil Alonge will join us via Skype to talk about that.
And so much to talk about. How are we going to get it into an hour? Find out. Mr. B will do a song for you as Glory Days starts right now. Good morning, everybody. Today is Saturday, July 12th, 2014, and you are watching the Glory Days show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Disclafani. This is my good buddy, Bruce Oler. Matt Martin is behind the glass today, and you're joining us on InRavio.com, where we broadcast to the world in glorious high definition. Right here from the InRavio studios.
Right down the block from the beach. I tell you, man, it's another beautiful beach day today.
Well, it feels like a beach day in here today.
a lot of traffic on William Floyd Parkway heading down to, I say Robert Moses. That's not Robert Moses. What is that? Smith's Point is what that is.
Smith Point, yeah. In beautiful Mastic, Long Island. Right here in the Village Music Shopping. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good.
What's going on?
Well, we saw the Gin Blossoms last night over at
cool.
Burns Park. I knew many more songs than I thought I did. The only song I thought I knew was Hey Jealousy, but there had to be 7 or 8 songs that I knew pretty well, including that song Found Out About You, which I thought was the highlight of the show. Yeah. You know.
They were really good, a real professional band. You know, it was like, they were very tight.
Yeah. The lead singer was an entertainer all by himself, man. He had a lot of, pithy banter between songs.
And he says he's from Long Island.
Did he say that?
That's what he said at the beginning of the show. I don't know whether.
No, I thought he said that his landlord was out in the crowd, and his landlord had a house here and a house out in California too, because they're from Tempe, Arizona, is where they're from. Yeah. Although, I guess maybe they met when they were going to school out there. Who knows?
Who knows? They were very good. It was a pretty good show. The town of Oyster Bay are tax dollars at work.
They had the tax collector out there last night, huh?
He got booed.
Well, who wouldn't boo him?
It's one thing to be elected to that job.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really actually collect the taxes. They just need somebody's name to write the check.
Hopefully, they're keeping records of who paid, not like the IRS, where all of a sudden they can't find any of these correspondence. So
I don't know. It just seems that it's kind of funny if you're the receiver of taxes. Although he did have a sense of humor about it last night. Came out with a smile on his face and knew he was going to get booed. It's got to be, maybe they can come up with a different name instead of receiver of taxes. Maybe, I don't know. I can't even think of what you would want.
I don't know. I don't think there's any good title.
At any rate, we do have a call-in number if you'd like to call in during the course of the show. It is 1-855-4IN-RADIO. So if you'd like to call in and discuss what we're discussing, I guess.
Yes.
What are we discussing?
That's a good question. Well,
I know what I want to do. Before we get into the sports segment of the show.
Okay.
I did want to talk about the Long Island Railroad.
Yes.
Now, we're not a political show here, but we do have our own opinions about things. And we do not use the Long Island Railroad.
No.
You know, although I did use it for a couple of years, but nowhere near like your sister.
Yes.
Your sister Phyllis.
Well,
has
if
been
you
a
work in
lifer.
Manhattan, that's almost the only way to get into Manhattan, really,
Right,
if you
I
live
mean-
out on Long Island here.
There are 300,000 people that
Commuting.
use the Long Island
Yep.
Railroad. You know, and yet they don't have a plan. If they go on strike, they're supposed to go on strike not this Monday, the following Monday. They're supposed to go on strike. And we can't understand, first of all, how they can even be allowed to go on strike.
Yeah.
They are the highest paid union, railroad union in the country.
Yeah.
But they have been without a contract for a couple of years. But anyway, what I wanted to show you was that the Long Island Railroad left leaflets
I see.
on their seats of everyone. And the biggest problem with the
What
the
you're
Long
showing
Island
me is
Railroad,
written in Spanish.
well, that's what it is. It's all in Spanish. Why would they leave a thing with Spanish? Oh, that's the other side. Okay.
Come on.
But they did have. They did send you put a little thing on your thing, and what they told you is very, very important. They do not have a plan.
Yeah, well,
They have no way of knowing how they're going to get you to work on Monday, July 20th if
Yep.
they go on strike.
Yep.
They're saying that you should understand that the very limited travel alternatives available to you. So you have to understand that.
So stay with a relative that lives within the
Yeah,
5
oh no,
boroughs.
it's even better than that. Here we go. Ready? Work from home.
Okay.
Okay, and after all, everybody, doctors and nurses, they could work from home. Or stay with friends and family in or near the city to take advantage of subway and bus service. Discuss telecommuting and flex time options. Or connect with others willing to carpool. You know,
Okay.
I told my son, you should get together. I said, you should start handing out leaflets next week. I said, you can get 4 or 5 people in your car. Apparently, that's illegal.
What do you mean?
You can't do that. You can't transport people for money. Did you know that? In New York State?
No.
In New York, yeah, you cannot do that. You have to have a livery license.
Really?
And you have to be an approved thing. They're trying to shut down. There is a company that has been organizing these trips now via social media.
Okay.
And they're trying to shut it down because they said the cars aren't regulated. But they're trying to get away with it by saying, we're not charging you a fare. We just want you to give us a donation.
Yeah, suggested donation. There you go. There you go. I see. All right.
You know, like when you go to the
We go to
museum.
the museum. That's right. That's right.
Do you always, when you go to the museum, do you use the suggested donation? Because you know you could just go in for 50 cents.
Yes.
The suggested donation's like $20.
Well, you know, I haven't been to the museum in a long time. I think maybe I need to get back to my roots there. I don't know. You know.
But I wonder, but what would you give if you went in?
Well, right now I'm not working, so I would give 50 cents. I think that's what I would do. You know.
I'm thinking I would like to just go in for free and just see what happens.
Yeah.
What are they going to do? Verbally assault you?
I don't know.
Right. Yeah. That's what
right.
you do.
Yeah, don't stop
Producer
at the
Matt says
cafeteria.
donate on the way out. So I don't know.
Pay as you exit. There you go. That was a Little Rascals episode.
The other thing that I don't understand is, and you and I were talking about this a little bit yesterday, is that if right now there's got to be thousands of school buses
Yeah.
and thousands of school bus drivers who are currently not working, they're off. Why wouldn't you just provide each Long Island Railroad station with a couple of school buses?
Well, it's not a couple of school buses they need. I had heard that basically one railroad car is equal to 4 buses.
Wow.
4 buses. So you need a lot of buses. You think about how many, especially those prime time trains that are going in. They're 12 or 15 cars long.
That is true.
You know, so that's like 60 buses you need. You know.
So right now, I think if you're like the Long Island Railroad Union, you're going that this is the best thing I ever heard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're saying that they can't do without, they cannot provide services without us. Therefore, you got to pay me.
You know, it's like Al Haig said. I guess grab them by their balls and their hearts and minds are sure to follow. I think is what he said. You know.
He should have been the president when Reagan got
Well, he said he was. You know, he said he was in charge. You know?
I'm in charge.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's hope that this doesn't happen.
Yes, let's
You
hope
know?
it doesn't happen. But if it does, we will be laughing at the ineptitude of the MTA, that they can't figure out what to do.
You know, the ironic thing is a couple of weeks ago, they made this big announcement, you know, and I think it's a good offer that's on the table if you look at it, you know. And then, you know, the union just kept their mouth shut and then basically put their finger up in the air, the middle finger, and said, you know, we're not doing it, you know.
You know, I mean, again, what you read in the paper, you know, you really don't know how accurate it is. But according to the union is looking for 17% over 6 years.
Yeah.
And they're offering them 17% over 7 years.
Yeah.
But they want them to contribute. They want some concessions. They want them to contribute to their health care. You know, everybody contributes to their health care.
Yeah, yeah. Why do these guys, I mean, they really look like they're a bunch of prima donnas. Nobody's going to, I don't feel sorry for these guys and the money that they're making, you know?
You know, I was talking
Especially
to...
when I think there's a fair offer on the table. I really do.
I'd like to know, like, what your sister thinks, because she's been on the trains. But I was talking to some people on Thursday that take the train.
Yeah.
And they said the last couple of days, the conductors have been so nice.
Of course.
They've been wonderful. They're like, oh, yeah, hi, how
they're
are
trying
you?
to win the...
Good morning,
yeah.
and, you know, all that type of stuff. So I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
All righty. What do you say? We talk about the story of the day.
Which must be
LeBron
LeBron James. The
LeBron
king
James.
is going home, I guess.
King is going home, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was. It was again one of those things. I mean, what was it like? 2010.
4 years ago, yes. He you know, and I think he's gotten a lot of flack since then. He had that big, you know, primetime special where he makes his decision, you know, and he basically puts his nose to the Cleveland Cavaliers, says he's taking his talents to South Beach,
Right.
where he winds up winning 2 championships.
Yeah, and they made the finals 4 years in a row.
Yeah. And but you know, his announcement, you know, not only gave him a lot of bad press, but the people in Cleveland, I mean, basically they were burning his jerseys
oh my God,
and everything,
yeah,
man.
It was like the backlash.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, you know, he's a hometown kid. You know,
From
he was,
nearby Akron, Ohio. I think is where
right.
he
You
grew up.
know, so everybody's been waiting. NBA free agency began
And
on
you know who
July
else is
1st.
waiting? Carmelo
Carmelo
Anthony.
Anthony.
He's afraid to make a move until LeBron James makes his move, which I don't get at all. You know.
Right. And LeBron James was. Everybody was waiting for the dominoes to fall because whoever got LeBron James was not getting anybody else.
Yeah.
You know, what were they going to do? So, at any rate, he's a 4-time league MVP, right? He left the Cavs 4 years ago, and he went with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade in Miami.
Right.
They go on to win 2 NBA titles, and were in the finals the year before and the year after.
Right.
So they went to 4 consecutive NBA finals.
Pretty impressive.
Okay.
Actually, very impressive.
So I have a couple of LeBron James quotes.
Recent quotes, like quotes
Yes, this was-
as a result of him, you know, read a...
He actually, this year, instead of doing The Decision,
Yeah.
the TV show, he wrote an essay
an essay.
for SportsIllustrated.com.
Okay.
And that was how he made an announcement. The Cavs didn't know about it.
Yeah.
The Heat didn't know about his decision until they.
What kind
they
of grade
read-
did he get on this essay?
I
Or are we
don't
going
know,
to grade
but
it today?
I did look at it. There were no spelling errors.
You sure about that?
I checked. I did
Okay.
spell check.
And,
Okay.
well, you know, sometimes spell check changes the words, too, you know.
Okay, this is a couple of things that he had to say.
All right.
He said, the hardest thing to leave is what I built with those guys, talking about Bosh and Dwayne Wade.
Who are those guys?
Those are Bosh and Dwayne Wade.
Okay.
I've talked to some of them and will talk to the others. Nothing will ever change what we accomplished.
Of course,
and that's
of
very
course it
true.
will. Well, that's true. I
You
mean,
know, they were a great team for 4 years.
let's state the obvious, you know.
So he met with team president Pat Riley
Okay.
in Las Vegas
Yeah.
last couple of days. But he decided to choose Cleveland. I mean, he was the #1 draft choice.
Yeah.
The overall #1 draft choice out of St. Vincent St. Mary High School in Akron, Ohio. So he is
He's a local guy.
he's a local guy.
Local
okay?
guy.
And I think that really had to be part of the decision.
Well, I think part of it really is the backlash he's gotten the last 4 years. You know, nobody's happy when they win. You know, when they won these 4 championships, everybody's still rooting against them.
Right.
You know.
Right.
I think that, you know, this is a PR move by him. I really believe.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Because he knew, even though he was winning those championships in Miami, I think it hurt him
Yeah.
how he was being perceived.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody still hates that decision. They really do, you know?
And I think they would have loved the decision if he was going back to Cleveland. Okay, so this is what he said about Ohio.
Okay.
My relationship with Northeast Ohio is bigger than basketball. I didn't realize that 4 years ago. I do now.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. And then he said, before anyone ever cared where I would play basketball, I was a kid in Northeast Ohio. It's where I walked, it's where I ran, it's where I cried, it's where I bled. It holds a special place in my heart. Now let me tell you something. I gained a little bit of respect for LeBron James going back to Cleveland. He could have gone back to Miami.
Yeah.
He could have realistically written his ticket and gone.
Yeah, he could have gone to the Knicks.
Anywhere.
You know?
Right, exactly. But you know what? He obviously didn't go for the money because he didn't get as much money going back to Cleveland as he would have if he had gone to.
At this point in time, he's got plenty of money. He's probably made some good investments. He's still got, I mean, you know, he probably does a lot of commercials and things like that. And he's just trying to, all this bad will that's been built up for the last 4 years,
Right.
I think he's really just trying to,
he had
negate
this,
that.
You know, when he did leave, he had this this terrible letter that got written by the Cavs owner, Dan Gilbert. But this is what he said. Even though he called him a coward, this is what LeBron said.
This is the
This is
owner calling him
LeBron. No, this
when
is
he
LeBron talking about Dan. Because
Okay.
the question was, why would you ever go back after this person said these terrible things about you? He says, I've met with Dan face to face, man to man. We've talked it out. Everybody makes mistakes. I've made mistakes as well.
No
Who
fool.
am I to hold a grudge?
Yeah.
You know, which is kind of interesting because this guy, the owner of the team, obviously he was as disappointed. And this is the, I just want to read a couple of things from the letter. Who?
Chuck, okay.
He said, as you know, this is the letter that Dan Gilbert, the Cleveland Cavalier, and it was posted everywhere. They had them posted on telephone poles and
Did
stores.
they have him on
and,
seats of railroad cars?
I don't know. It was in Spanish.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. As you know, our former hero, who grew up in the very region that he deserted this evening, is no longer a Cleveland Cavalier.
This is what he wrote 4 years
Right,
ago.
this is what he wrote. This was announced with a several-day narcissistic self-promotional buildup culminating with a national TV special of his decision, unlike anything ever witnessed in the history of sports and probably the history of entertainment. Clearly, this is bitterly disappointing to us all.
Of course.
Right? And he goes on to talk about, talk to the fans. He's speaking especially to the fans. He says, you simply don't deserve this kind of cowardly betrayal. Okay. And of course, he did make this statement, which he was very wrong about. I personally guarantee that the Cleveland Cavaliers will win an NBA championship before the self-titled former king wins one. You could take that to the bank.
Well, looks like we lost on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they won 13 games the next season.
Yeah.
Okay. And he just goes on to say, this I thought was an interesting quote. He said, some people think they should go to heaven, but not have to die to get there. That's very profound. Sounds like it should be a lyric in a Bruce Springsteen song. You know. But at any rate, so the funny thing was, the day before, he signed Mike Francesa.
Oh, well, yeah, man.
The
He
king
knows
of all
everything,
media,
Mike Francesa.
Right? Said when people were talking about him possibly,
never happen.
a caller said,
Yeah.
he said, oh, it'll never happen. It'll never go back. He didn't even talk to the owner. Why would you go back to a guy
Yeah.
that said those things? Why?
Mike Francesa has-
$96 million. That's the best reason for
So
anything.
Cleveland's odds went from 33 to 1 to winning the championship to 4 to 1. They are now the favorite to win next year.
Wow.
I believe.
That's
and
unbelievable.
the franchise value went from $515 million to $1 billion.
With in one day?
Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
sell now.
You know, yeah, exactly right. Sell high, man. You know, sell high. Yeah. Then we have a caller though.
We got a call. Who's on the line? Are we ready? Hello, caller. Identify yourself, please.
Hey guys, it's Chuck.
Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Chuck. It's Chuck
Hey,
Schultz,
guys.
the master of all that is in radio. How are you, friend?
Good boys, how you guys doing?
We're
Doing okay.
good.
What's up? What can we do for you?
Hey, just wanted to let you know. Today we're down at the Jones Beach Theater with van number 74 for the Vans Warped Tour 2014.
Oh,
Down
man.
here with Jamie and Mike, our camera crew. They're interviewing all the bands.
Sounds like a great day. I mean, I tell you, I haven't been to the Vans tour, and I guess they were, like you say, they were Jones Beach this time. I think last year maybe they were at the Coliseum.
Right.
I'm sure Christine will be there, as a matter of fact. You should look for her. I'm sure she'll stop by the van for a while.
It's packed here, guys. I'll tell you, there's tons of people outside waiting to get in. These guys are still setting up here. It's just getting ready to kick off. 11 o'clock is when the doors open, and we're going to be here all day with the van, number 74, so come on down. We're giving out bracelets, so the deal is, if we spot you at another event, you still have the bracelet, you can win $100.
Wow.
Hey, that's pretty good. Where do I get my bracelet?
Oh, you're not going to get one. We don't have one big enough for you. Hey, these things are small, brother. I got them on my wrist. It's like cut the circulation off of my head.
Maybe we could wear them like pinky rings or something.
I think that's where we're headed. With thumb ring or something, you know?
So where in Jones Beach? Is it the Jones Beach Theater parking lot?
Absolutely. Jones Beach Theater, Field 5 parking lot. Come on down. We'll be here all day today with you in the radio van.
Okay,
That's
cool.
great, Chuck. Thanks for calling in.
All right, guys. Peace out.
All right.
Thanks,
bye-bye.
Chuck. Wow, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
I know.
And we were talking about we should have taken a van to Gin Blossoms
we should have
last
taken
night.
them last night.
And maybe we'll take them to the Blue Oyster Cult in a few weeks
We
down
have to
there.
sign up for that.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we don't. All righty. Let's talk about the other story.
Oh, it's Tanaka.
Masahiro Tanaka.
Masahiro is correct.
So the Yankees, the only really guy that's been keeping the Yankees afloat.
12-4, front runner for the Rookie of the Year and Cy Young in the American League.
Right. He has a small tear in his ulnar collateral ligament. But he might have dodged the bullet for Tommy John surgery. They don't know yet. But he did. He went back to New York to get an MRI. And then they flew him to Seattle to
Right.
see the Yankee surgeon.
Right.
Because there was some sort of a convention or something.
Yeah, Raccoon Convention.
At the
I think is what it was.
But so while he was there, he saw not one but three different doctors, including Dr. Olchuk. And if you don't know who Dr. Olchuk is, he is the surgeon that has completely destroyed every Met player.
Is he?
No, he's the team physician of the Mets.
Okay.
So if anything, he knows about how to get people on the disabled list. I don't know if I would be taking his
Yeah,
opinion,
well.
you know. But they just felt that what they're going to do is they're going to give him an injection.
Right.
rehab.
Platelet-rich plasma.
Right.
Tomorrow, Monday, he's getting that injection, as a matter of fact.
Now this is
And they'll keep
kinda-
their fingers crossed. They'll hope that basically, I mean, they did something similar with CC Sabathia. I mean, they gave him an injection. Looked like things were going okay for him, and then it flared up again.
Yeah. No, but the thing that's bothering CC Sabathia right now is his knee.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
Oh, is that what they did?
yeah, well, he was out for his knee, but
Yeah.
they gave him an injection, figuring, we'll
Right.
try to go that route as opposed to some kind of radical surgery or something.
Right. And the same basic thing was going on with, as Met fans know, Matt Harvey. Matt Harvey was faced with the same decision last year.
Yeah.
In I guess
There's a lot of
July.
decisions,
Yeah, it's a tough thing because you think about it, and obviously it's your career. With you, it's your right hand.
Yeah.
Okay, and if your career was a guitar player.
Well, I like my right hand for a number of reasons, but we won't get into.
But if you had to make your living on your right hand.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Master of my domain.
You mess-
Yeah, okay.
I'm out.
Better move. There you go.
But if you had to make your living with your right hand, you would have to make a decision.
Yeah.
I think with a pitcher, I think the decision that Matt Harvey made was he didn't want to have this hanging over his head every time.
Well,
he
it really
pitched.
gets down to if you really feel it's inevitable, cut your losses and do it sooner rather than later. I mean, and I guess the Yankees aren't in, or Tanaka's not in that position right now. You could say it's a relatively small tear. I think it's 10%. As opposed to, I'm not sure what Harvey's was, but it was a lot more than 10%. And they got their fingers crossed that basically he can come back this year. But the recovery time is 12 to 18 months. So if they're just kicking this thing down the road for the inevitable, I'm not so sure it's a good move to try to deal with it this way.
No, I mean, in his first 14 starts, he was 11-1.
He was lights out.
1.99 ERA. But in his last 4 starts, he's 1-3 with a 4.25 ERA. And we had talked about a lot of things in the beginning of the year about him, none of which were true. We were worried about the baseball being different, the mound being
we were also worried about the fact
higher.
that he didn't pitch as often.
Right.
He pitched like every 6th day as opposed to every 5th day, I guess. And
Yankees,
he's got a lot of mileage on his arm.
Right.
He really does.
And the Yankees are insisting that, they took an MRI of his elbow before before they decided to sign him, and there was no tear. There was nothing there. So obviously, whatever happened between then and now. So it's such a thing with all these pitchers breaking down and getting hurt and doing.
I mean, there's been a plethora of players that really have had required the surgery this year. There's 7 or 8. I mean, and these are all big time pitchers. I guess the only good news is that it's kind of become the outcome is a lot more predictable now. It's not like you get your fingers crossed this guy will come back and he'll be as strong.
Right. The Yankees are only 3.5 games out of first. Well, 4.5 games out of first after losing last night. But they're 33-41 when anybody other than Tanaka pitches.
Yeah.
So they've already lost Ivan Nova.
Well, they lost 80% of their starting lineup.
Right.
Of their starting pitching rotation.
Right. He's out for the season with Tommy John surgery. Michael Pineda is out till late August with the shoulder strain. CC Sabathia is out for the season. They're talking about maybe being a career ending.
Right.
A degenerative knee injury. So the Yankees are in trouble. The Mets are in trouble.
Well, the Mets are in a lot less trouble than the Yankees are.
Well, you know what? It's been kind of
And I was
fun
thinking about this on the
with
way
Mets.
over. I mean, you made this bold prediction beginning of the year that the Mets were going to have a better record than the Yankees.
At the end of the year.
And, as of a couple of weeks ago, you really kind of felt that, man, I thought maybe you were smoking some of that stuff again, But, and maybe you are, I don't know. But you know what? It's looking a lot better for you now, my friend, Like the Mets are heading up and the Yankees are heading down.
Which is a wonderful thing.
Yep.
We've been hoping for this for years.
Yes.
I can't say that when I heard about Tanaka, I didn't have a little smile.
Well,
I know it's a terrible thing, but I just had a little.
Well,
bit
and the
of a
worst thing is
smile.
that this guy was he was having a phenomenal year. Maybe one of these real dominating years.
Yeah.
So to see him get shut down like this is it's disappointing. It really is. If you're a baseball fan,
It's disappointing and a wonderful thing at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to take a short break.
What they call a win-win situation.
A win-win, yeah. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we will have our good pal
Phil Alonge.
Philippe Alonge, international soccer star, live via Skype from Brazil. Stick around the end. Mr. B will do a song for you. We'll talk about Germany and Argentina when we get back. You're watching the Glory Days Show on radio.com. Be right back.
InRavio.com. Paul Brown and the Killing Devils. Alternative progressive rock like you've never heard before. Over 1 million views on YouTube. New York City Village Voice says Paul is a gifted singer, songwriter, and musician with one of the best progressive rock bands on the planet. LA Underground Music Exchange calls him the only modern American band to cover every genre well. Pick up the albums Black Widow Tears, Red Spider, and The Wizard's Dawn, now on iTunes. And get to Facebook.com/Killing Devils to keep up with the latest info.
Carson from the 5051 Racing Show, live every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Watch as I dive into everything from NASCAR and motor racing, only on InRavio.com.
Transmission of lice occurs from being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Like catching a cold or a flu.
You have guaranteed peace of mind in every bottle of Got Lice because all of our products are completely natural,
And organic.
but strong enough to cover all your lice removal needs while being safe and effective. Our professional technicians are specially trained with our exclusive proven technique to successfully comb out head lice. We come right to your home at your convenience.
Whenever you want us.
We bring everything needed to perform a successful and complete comb out while eliminating your head lice. And we leave you with our exclusive complimentary products to use for the next 10 days following our treatment.
For free.
Our technicians also check all family members who have been exposed to lice. Please visit us on our website today at gotlice.co or feel free to call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 646-257-0121.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there. And we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com. For over 60 years, Hanson Carpet has put the customer first, providing only the finest quality products and service. And Hanson Carpet is so much more than just carpet. We also carry a wide selection of window blinds and shades, and our licensed and insured technicians can service any of your flooring or window covering needs. Browse our huge selection of laminate, carpet, linoleum, vinyl, and tile. Stop by our showroom today or visit HansonCarpet.com. No matter what your project, Hanson Carpet has got you covered.
Welcome back to the Glory Days Show with Bruce and Disco. My name is Paul Discofani. This is my good buddy Bruce Oler. And we have been following the World Cup all year, I guess, for the last couple of weeks.
Last 4 weeks. I mean, it's actually been a long tournament.
It's been kind of exciting. And the last time we spoke to you, the U.S. Was still in it.
Yeah.
And later on, I guess that next day, or later on during that week, they got eliminated.
Yeah, they got eliminated Tuesday, I think is what it was.
But through thick and thin, we have had international soccer star Philippe Alonge with us.
Every step of the way.
He is still, Phil, you still there? You still in Brazil?
Yes. Yeah, I'm in, Copacabana Beach.
Copacabana, okay. All right.
So,
You looking for Lola Falana or something, or what? You know?
Hey, you know, we've seen, we understand that it is beautiful there in Brazil, and we understand that the women are just wonderful.
oh, yes.
Okay. You can attest to that.
And what
Yeah.
and the word that we've got was that you had not one but two Brazilian cuts while you were there.
No, the part down there is for me to, figure out.
I see.
You didn't make like a landing strip?
No.
All righty, man. So I guess we'll let you lead this. Where do we want to go with this today? Obviously, last time we saw you, we were just getting into the knockout round.
Yeah.
And the rules changed a bit. I mean, now there's extra time, and I mean, it's not like things end in a tie anymore once you get to the knockout round. So they play an extra 30 minutes, and after that, they have a shootout. Which I tell you, that's a little controversial. I don't think everybody's really all that excited about the shootout. I mean, in hockey during the regular season they have a shootout, but when they're playing in the Stanley Cups, they just keep on playing till somebody wins.
Yeah. I mean, it's the rule, but I'm sure you watched the games now. You saw that it more comes down to who nervous.
Guesses right. The guy dives when the guy's ready to shoot, and he hopes he's diving the way the guy's shooting the ball.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Phil,
it's pretty much like baseball, where you have to decide that you swing at the pitch before it comes out of the pitcher's hand.
Yeah.
So
You know, I have to say I've garnered a great respect for the shootout. At first, I thought it was the most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
I still do.
I said, you know, it would be the equivalent of deciding an NBA final on free throws.
Yeah.
Okay. Which, on paper,
Yeah.
sounds like the most ridiculous thing you ever heard. But you know what? Just think about it.
Well, all the
think
pressure,
about the pressure.
all the pressure that's on you.
You know, all the pressure to make. I mean, in soccer, you would probably say that the penalty kick is the easiest thing to score in, right? I mean, it's fairly simple to score. It's a high percentage. Same thing with a free throw. I mean, could you imagine if you had to get up there and the entire NBA championship was on the line with you making that free throw, right? It's not really that bad. So I was talking with Kevin, my son Kevin and James, and we were talking about like the equivalent of that type, the easiest thing in every sport, that type of pressure. So in the NFL, it would probably be an extra point.
Yeah.
Okay. All you got to do is make an extra point, and you keep making extra points until, realistically, until somebody misses.
Yeah, that would.
You know?
You might be there for days.
You know. But again, with all that pressure,
Yeah.
you got to make it. Somebody makes a mistake. In baseball, we were like, well, what could it be? It can't be hitting a home run because that's not easy. So I think my son James says maybe the pitcher has to throw a strike. You know, I says again, what incredible pressure, and especially in the World Cup. Especially in the World Cup, what they're talking about is the entire country is depending on you.
Yeah. Well, speaking about the country, I mean, you know, the fact is the Germans blew out Brazil. Right?
Yeah.
And the next day, that country, actually probably that night, that country was in a state of mourning, you know? I mean, they hate that team right now, I think, you know? They went from being these...
the World Cup.
Yeah.
For last year, when they had the Confederations Cup there was huge amounts of protest, and you know, just about the cost of the stadiums and you know, and how the people are actually living, and it was covered up on how it was dealt with now, and they were saying that throughout this whole World Cup, there's been like martial law around the stadiums,
Really?
in the towns around there, and that they were actually, like, if you were watching like the media coverage like a month before, 2 months before the World Cup, they were actually worried about if Brazil does poorly, how the people are going to react. Because up until that point, if Brazil does good, the people are going to be behind their team. They're going to be happy. And then we saw that, you know, after they lost, you know, there was riots, things were breaking. So we'll see.
Yeah, they got smoked. I mean, Germany scored 5 goals in 20 minutes, and they routed them 6-1.
You know, there was a Phil. Did you see they did an equivalent of scoring for the 7 goals? Okay, so they said 7 goals in a World Cup match. They said a World Cup match throughout the entire history of the tournament has averaged like less than 2 goals. It's like 1.92 or something. So they said it was the equivalent of a single team scoring 14 goals in an NHL game.
Wow.
Okay. 22 runs in a baseball game.
Yeah.
107 points in the NFL, and 484 points in an NBA game.
Unbelievable.
That's the.
You know, most of the time you would say the goalie stinks, but I don't think the goalie really could be faulted on many of those goals. I don't think he had any bad goals. You know, it was the defense just played crappy in front of him is what happened, you know?
I mean, yeah. I was telling my brother this because he was watching the game with me through Skype, and he was saying, like, you know, he's a big baseball fan.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, you know, like, because we're talking about how the detractors of soccer in this country were saying, like, oh, well, there's no scoring. And then the two of us came to the conclusion that just like baseball, where people who don't like baseball say there's, you know, low scoring, in soccer, the thing in the World Cup, up until that point, the 7-1 routing of Brazil, up until that point when it was 2-1, 1-0, you know, that's because the countries are somewhat equal.
Yeah.
And now, if you watch the club soccer, which starts off in August in Europe, if you watch the club soccer, there's going to be teams, just like the World Cup, there's going to be teams that go out there with there's actually a set way to play, and that's defend, counter. And in the World Cup, it's been working for those teams up until that point.
Right.
And in club soccer, where you have a much better team versus a weaker team, more often than not, their defend, a counter breaks down, and then you have scores like 4-0, 4-1. So.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the question is, Brazil is playing the Netherlands this afternoon for it's a consolation game, whether they're going to finish in third or fourth, I guess, in the overall tournament. Can they recover from a beating like that, man? They really got a beat down. That's really what happened to them.
They did.
So you think
I
they
mean,
can
I'm
recover?
picking Netherlands to win the third place.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe that Brazil could, come back from that. I mean, yes, they do want to get third, and yes, they do want to show some, some power over Argentina, their main rival, but they're not going to do it.
The winner becomes what they call the runner-up, right? Or what do they call the third place? They call it the third place winner?
It's just third place. It's actually received third place.
So so the fourth place team doesn't matter. They don't get any recognition.
Well, no, you still have a rank. Like if you look at the stats, you'll still have the ranking of champion, runner-up, third place, and fourth place.
Oh, okay. So before we get to the actual World Cup game, we wanted to talk. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the state of the U.S. soccer.
Yeah.
Where does this leave us as a country? I mean, what do we do now? We've got
soccer?
4 years to prepare for the next World Cup, but there are other things that are coming up.
Yeah.
That we could do well in.
Oh yeah. Well, first off, they asked this question, the question that you just asked about what happens now for U.S. soccer.
Right.
In since 1990, the United States has been in every World Cup since 1990, and Major League Soccer, the top level of soccer in our country, was FIFA sanctioned in 1992, and so it started in 1996, but they wanted to build up the sport since we got the World Cup in '94. They figured that this is the time. So since then, it's been building. Even after 2010, the World Cup in 2010 in South Africa, they asked the question, and if you ever went to a qualification match or a U.S.-Brazil, U.S.-Mexico match in the United States, it was mostly Mexican fans had come up to watch the game. Now, in the past 2 years, now if you go to places like the games are held in maybe Seattle, Kansas City, right. Those stadiums are packed out with U.S. fans. So it's changed over the past 2 years. Like my friend Sal Police that I talked about earlier, he says, he told me after the loss to Belgium, he said, the United States did well, but the best part came out of that the fans, there's been more fans than ever.
They had some great ratings on TV, and I think FIFA was very excited about the fact the United States made a decent showing in the tournament.
Yeah.
And it probably bodes well for us hosting another World Cup sometime down the road.
I mean, now we don't really understand it as well as somebody like you that's a soccer fan, but the questions are, what happened in that game where we waited till the last 15 minutes to show any life? Where was all that life in the beginning of the game?
You talk about the Belgium?
Yeah, the Belgian game.
Well,
I mean, that game was 90 minutes of virtually nothing for the U.S. Belgium dominated the first 15 minutes of extra time.
Yeah.
Scored twice, and we got, and then we dominated completely in the second phase of it. But where was that? Where was that intensity? You can't just turn it on and turn it off, right? I mean,
no, I don't think you can. Let's hear.
No, I mean, I watched the game. The U.S. I think at first was just shocked that we couldn't press in the beginning of the game. But like I said earlier, if you watch the 2010 World Cup, the U.S. was criticized over and over again that we couldn't defend. So this World Cup we got Jurgen Klinsmann, and like I said earlier, there's actually a way to play, and that's defend, and hope for the counter. The problem with the game is that the defending we got down. We figured that out, but it was almost impossible for us to counter successfully.
It just never seemed that they got the ball on the other side of the field.
Yeah.
At all. Hey, let's we got to wrap up in a few minutes. last time Germany won the World Cup was in 1990 against
Argentina.
And the last time Argentina won the World Cup was in 1986 against
Germany.
Now, my German friend
Yes.
next to me.
German
Mr.
heritage,
Owen.
yes.
German
Not
heritage.
German. I'm an American.
Obviously, you think Germany's going to win. I don't know. Phil, do you think that Argentina has any chance at all?
Well, like I told you, throughout the weeks, I've been
You've been a
saying
big
for
Argentina
fun.
fan. You have been. You've been touting them the whole year, the
I mean-
whole tournament.
I'm hoping Argentina's going to win. I think they're going to win. Both teams have, major stars on their team. Besides Messi, there's other players. Argentina.
All right, so gun to your head, Argentina.
Yes.
And you're
Gun to your head, Germany.
Well,
Sammy
well,
Stone.
I want my shades.
Sammy Stone,
Yo,
tell me the future.
sure, ask away.
Will Germany beat Argentina?
I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
So, from the Stone
He's been
himself, the Stone himself is a Germany fan, and I guess
They're going to have to
he's
keep
got
their
no
eye
choice.
on Lionel Messi, though, for sure. I mean, I think he's the wild card in the game.
I mean, no, but Aguero is back.
Yeah.
He's, so he's not hurt. Before you guys send me off, Disco and Bruce, I want to thank you for having me on the show. This past month, and I just want to say that it's not over for anything. You hinted at it before. In 2015, next year, is the Women's World Cup in Canada. The CONCACAF Gold Cup. CONCACAF is the North America zone. So next year is the North American version of the World Cup, just the North American teams. 2016 is another huge year. A huge year for American soccer. One, we have the UEFA Euro, which is the European version of the World Cup. And then the CONMEBOL, it's in Spanish, so I can't say it right, but the Centenario, the 100th anniversary of the South American Confederation. And the USA is hosting that.
Wow.
So, and next year, New York is going to have 3 professional teams. So it's a good time to be a fan of New York soccer.
Well, we'd like
Soccer.
to have the opportunity to bring you back every now and then.
Oh,
Talk
yeah, you
about
could-
the Cosmos. Talk about some other soccer stuff. if
I learned
that's
a lot
okay with
about
you.
soccer through you. I really did,
Well, thank
I
you.
have to say,
It was good for us, too,
I have
Phil.
to say, it took us through a whole month, and it was something completely different
Yeah.
for me to actually follow this tournament and learn some new rules and learn some different languages
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
But if we don't shut off soon, we're going to be in extra time. is what's
We're going to be in
gonna
extra time. There is no
Glory Days, extra time.
on the Glory Days show. Not anymore, anyway. All right, Phil, thanks a lot. Enjoy your last couple of days in Brazil.
happen. All right.
And don't get in
for
trouble.
sending
Watch
me.
out for crabs.
Drink some German beer and root for Germany. Okay?
All right, Phil, thanks.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Take
Thanks
care.
a lot. That is our, that is a new friend of the show, Philippe Alonge.
He was an informed guest, as
I
most
gotta
of our
say,
guests are.
it's nice to have a guy that actually knows what he's talking
Yes.
about on the
It
show.
is.
Okie dokie. We're going to take a short break, set up the Mr. B's live performance, which today will be
REM's Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon.
Okay.
The Andy Kaufman song.
That's right.
All righty, stay with us. You're watching the Glory Days show with Bruce and Disco right here on InRavio.com. Broadcasting to the world.
Stick it here. Keep it here.
Stick it here.
Stick it here. Stick it there. Okay.
Stick it wherever you want.
InRavio.com.
Hey, this is Gina Cotillo from The Gina Show. Come join us every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for celebrity interviews, Reality Reel with Billy Charles, funny stories with Brian Kinnear, and much, much more. The Gina Show can be found only on InRavio.com, broadcasting to the world. So come and catch us.
This can be the final answer. What you say to me tonight, or will you say to me goodbye? For you, I will always be waiting. It takes two to mend what has been breaking. If you still choose to go, I'll be singing. I will remember.
The world of advertising has changed. Radio, TV, and newspaper revenues have declined drastically. Why? Because businesses have realized that advertising return on investment isn't what it used to be. So what can we do about it? Well, that's easy. Advertise online. Own a local restaurant, real estate agency, or even a national retail chain? Whatever your business, InRavio can get your message out there, and we can do it at a fraction of the cost. Call today and see the difference for yourself. This isn't TV. This isn't radio. This is InRavio.com.
Girls, 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 girls all have something to say. Some say their emotions get in the way. Some like them big, some like them skinny. Oh, girls, please come this way. We must unite, this is the place. You don't have to show your face. Girls, I'll be a lady of today. So say what you
Welcome back to the Glory Day Show with Bruce and Disco here on InRavio.com, and we have come to my favorite part of the show because I don't have to do anything. If you're new to this here program, Mr. B does a song for you at the end of every show, and today he is taking on REM's Man on the Moon, which is also known as the Andy Kaufman song. So sing along if you'd like. Take it away, Mr. B.
Thank you, Disco. And there's no reason why I'm playing this song other than the fact that I like it, I guess. Okay, so without any further ado, REM's Man on the Moon. Andy Kaufman in the game alive. Yeah, 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 yeah. Andy Kaufman in a wrestling match. Yeah, 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 yeah. Monopoly, 21 checkers and chess. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mr. Fred Blassie in a Christmas mess. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's play Twister, let's play chess. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll see you in heaven if you make the list. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now, Andy, did you hear about this one? Are you getting gone in the pond? Andy, are you goofing on Elvis? Hey, baby, are you losing touch? If you believe they put a man on the moon, man on the moon. If you believe there's nothing up his sleeve, nothing is cool. Moses went walking with a staff of wood. Yeah, 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 yeah. Newton got beaten by the apple good. Yeah, 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 yeah. Egypt was troubled by the horrible asp. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mr. Charles Darwin had the nerve gall to ask. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now, Andy, did you hear about this one? Did you get gone in the pond? Andy, are you goofing on Elvis? Hey, baby, are you losing touch? If you believe they put a man on the moon, man on the moon. If you believe there's nothing up his sleeve, nothing is cool. Here's a little legend for the never believer. Yeah, 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 yeah. Here's a little ghost for the offering. Yeah, 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 yeah. Here's a truck stop instead of St. Peter. Yeah, 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 yeah. Mr. Andy Kaufman's gone wrestling. Yeah, 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 yeah. Now, Andy, did you hear about this one? Are you getting caught in the palm? Andy, are you goofing on Elvis? Hey, baby, are you losing touch? If you believe they put a man on the moon, man on the moon. If you believe there's nothing up his sleeve, nothing is cool. Nothing is cool. We'll have a few words on the song.
Did you?
Yeah, it's not the Hoople in the game of life, not Andy Kaufman in the game of life. I started it out wrong. So the streak continues.
The streak continues, yeah. All righty. Do you believe that Andy Kaufman is actually dead, or do you believe he's alive?
Well, I believe that Dick Van Dyke is dead. At least I did last night.
If you read it on the internet, it has
to be true.
All righty. Thanks to our producer, Matt Martin, who could be seen only in his archive page, since In and Out, pun intended, is on hiatus. Matt, when you guys coming back? In September.
Taking the summer off.
Taking the summer off, but he chooses to be here every Saturday to put this beautiful show into production for us.
Thank you,
Matt. Thanks to Philippe Alonge, our soccer guru, for all his help during the World Cup. And he predicted, did he predict Argentina? Or did
he did. No, he picked Argentina.
He predicted Argentina, but listen, the money's going to be on Germany. So if you want to make money, bet on Germany. If you want to live in the fantasy world, bet on Argentina.
It's 11 o'clock, which means it's time to head over to the Vans tour over at Jones Beach and catch the Radio Van over there.
Right, do not forget that. Catch the Radio Van, see our good friends Chuck and Bonnie, who we thank for putting up with this nonsense week after week. And of course, thanks to you, our loyal listeners, and enjoy your weekend, everybody. Don't forget, you can check out our archive page, and you can watch any one of our glorious shows on our archive page right on the NRadio website. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you next Saturday. Thanks, everybody.